Alrighty-roo, and cuckoo-ca-choo to you and all my nobodies. Not watching out there. Let's see where this goes. Once more, a memory of an old douchebag who thought he could rule the world. I don't think he thought that, but... I mean, maybe. But anyway, crosses my mind. It's like, I don't think he wanted to rule the world, but a lot of people are like, New York City is the world. I guess. I mean, it's some little, like, some cities are their own fucking little planet, their own little world, you know, on a bigger world. That's just how it is. Well, looks like the world has left him behind. I mean, that happened a long ass time ago, but he just kept a stranglehold upon the concept of being alive anyway. Sayonara, asshole. And here I am at the only place I didn't expect to visit tonight, the art hole. Well, that's how you know that you were going to be there. The law of irony says that I'm definitely like, all the things that are going to happen is like, you know. Not just because this is a story, not because the law of irony, just because you just, you know, and plus you try to manifest something interesting happening to you. Are you not, I would say entertained to follow the quote, but it's more like, you don't know you're entertained yet, but something interesting is happening. Guessing by the sounds, the inside seems lively. Even if they know it's an emergency, they simply don't care. Is it an emergency? I feel like from the Camarilla standpoint, it's more like, oh, that one asshole no one likes. Even the anarchs, even the other sect, the other, that like, the Camarilla is sort of like, oh, we're all about law and this, and anarchs want to do their own thing and be independent, sort of neutral and free, but not be governed, but tend to get squashed, not always, but, you know, whatever. And then there's like the Sabbat, who are like basically vampire Nazis, just to put it simply. It doesn't mean well, I mean, it depends on how that went down, or how people how they think it went down. If he fucked around and found out with the wrong person, you know, that's another anarch, that's all their problem. They're not likely to come unless they think it was manipulated. There's still likely to be splash damage, and actually meeting in a well-known place at this hour, at this time, is probably not the best move. You know, like a firebomb the place, and fire bad for vampire. But yeah. What are you standing around for? You still need an invitation? I mean, I do kind of have been kept on a leash, a short leash. Didn't you say something about a leash earlier? You know, the past episodes I've made? No idea. Do I? Like, I feel like that's a fair fucking question. This isn't... There is definitely some sarcasm there and some sort of snarkiness, but it's also like self-preservation. Like, I honestly don't know. Just because you brought me here doesn't mean I get to just come inside. You said yourself you'd have to kind of sneak me in under some sort of false pretenses. Like, do I need to use the side entrance? Do I have to, like, come in through the sewers? I don't know. I'm gonna listen to you. Like, maybe I do need an invitation. Maybe you're like, wait here in the car. I'm gonna go get you on the guest list. I don't know. I think the bouncer will let you in. Oh, this is your attempt at a joke because you're the bouncer? Ah. I mean, pretty good looking for a bouncer, IMO. But also, what kind of bouncer just bounces when he's supposed to be at work? How important was this? Were you late? Did you leave to come? You fucking killed him and I was on the way back and you're like, this is my alibi? Or I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Because aren't you, well, I mean, there might be just a ghoul bouncer or something, but, or like some other person who has a job like me that's sort of like, hey, you've got a position that may or may not have a title that we just made up right now. There's a bouncer? It's like, I figured that was him. Yes, and he's standing right in front of you. Okay, see, I was right. Just start walking, whelp. Oi! Oi! Okay, alright. I was like defending you and I was cool. But you calling me a whelp, that, to my understanding, is sort of a Sabbat term. Maybe Anarch? I mean, Camarilla might use it. It might be like everybody can use it, but it seems like more like a direct derogatory status thing that, to my understanding, was less. It was looked down upon by the Camarilla, and something more said by Sabbat and possibly Anarchs. And here I am among partying elites. It's as stuffy and as boring as I expected, but hey, at least it's exclusive. The title Panhard came up with up for these yearly gatherings. It's called the Celebration of Power, an invitation to re-examine the relationship between our undead bodies and the spaces we inhabit. Oh, okay. Panhard. Okay, I read that with the yeah. I didn't read that right, but that's fine. The week-long event is packaged as a sort of performance art piece, meaning to make the kindred who are involved celebrate their potential instead of despairing at their monstrous nature. You got to be careful with that. How many Malks you got around here? Like, or I don't know, Nosferatu. I don't really feel like Ravnos have shown up much, and they're kind of low in number. I don't know much they do the cam, but they're not much cammies. They don't Camarilla too much, but you gotta be careful with that. Like, oh, celebrate your vampire? It's like, you might literally get, like, a low-gen fucking fledgling Bruja that's just like, yeah, no, my sire made me because, you know, I'm going to speak as though I was Bane from, the Harley Quinn series, and then do a bad impersonation of him. Like, I'm very strong, and I can just juggle this dumpster and truck on the freeway. This is my performance art. I'm celebrating being a vampire. Oh, I'm violating the masquerade? I thought that this was... No, it's just performance art, Sheriff. Slice his head off, you know, whatever. We need to counter-program the omnipresent images of tragic vampirism with the images that remind us we have inherited the earth, and we are now free to remake it in our image, is the way our prince puts it. Wow, you sound like such an elitist, one-percenter. Just, oof, even worse than that. Great. It's like, no, we're not the bad guys. Ruining everything, fighting each other, and destroying everything we touch, and ourselves, and just basically creating misery and living miserable lives. We're the lucky chosen few, destined, these brilliant bright stars that have the power to... We have been given this earth, and we can make it in our own image. Like, god damn, that is the height of fucking avarice, if that's the right word for it. The audacity. To this end, she organizes a series of exhibits, concerts, fireworks, parties, business meetings, etc., etc. Of course, the parties and business meetings are the most important. Yeah. That's all just, whatever. A plum. It's just, the other stuff is, not even icing on the cake. It's that little thing they put on the cake that isn't edible. And you have to, like, take off. Not like the topper. But you know what I'm talking about? You know the place. You know what I'm talking about. My prince. Kadir. Finally. Ooh, I like your headdress. It reminds me of, what is it? I'm a fan of this YouTuber slash, yeah, I think it's YouTuber slash artist, musician artist type, named Tessa Violet. She recently released a new album. I haven't listened to the whole thing in its fullness effectively. I've listened to various parts, seen some of the music videos, but I didn't really give it the full attention it deserves. I've kind of like heard it here and there, blah blah blah. But she's got this one song, I think it's called My God, where she sort of like has this very ornate everything, and that sort of reminds me of that. I don't know, it just pops in my head. Her outfit's better though. Not like Tessa Violet's outfit's better. Like this one is like, it just sort of reminds me of that because the thing. Hers is still better. Although this one's probably more functional and more comfortable. Depending on what those feather things are made out of. They look like they may be made out of actual gold. That would be heavy. A saint with angelic wings, a holy patron of New York City. My stars and garters. Take a good look around. Half the figures here are dressed like they are attending a masked ball. The other half are religious figures, either demonic or saintly. I thought she was trying to like I thought the whole point was for you to not. Well, maybe the way they express that is by reveling in the demonic nature of, even though they're camis, and just because you're in the Camarilla doesn't mean that you're gonna. She's like, look, let's not worry about this whole being monsters thing that we kill to live. Mostly, we don't have to, but most of us do anyway. We like it because we're monsters. It's fun. It's fun for us. Some of us go against that, but whatever. But yeah, whatever. Alright, that's fine. I have to admit, I don't fully understand the theme here. I know Panhard based it on psycho magic, a sort of shamanic psychotherapy using the power of art. That sounds like the sort of thing somebody would say who has no understanding of the sentence they just said, but wants to sound like they're deep and understand it. Because if they did, they might say that, but it sounds like these are a bunch of cool buzzwords I'm going to throw together, and some of my art friends said that this sounded awesome, so they're actually making a fool of me, but it's fine, because no one will ever say that to my face. It'll just be the Emperor's new clothes, because only those smart enough to understand how much I don't understand will get the joke, and they would never risk themselves by ever saying anything that I would understand, to understand that I've been played the fool. Haha. Simply put, it's like a holy mass, and in a holy mass, in equal measures, a set of rituals meant to make the participants wholeheartedly accept that they're both the worst and the best this earth has to offer. I feel like you might understand it better than the prince does. But maybe not. Put on this mask, at the very least. You're standing out. Says the person not wearing a mask. But if I just walked in, like my normal goth chick in the corner of the burger joint thing, yeah, no, I guess that yeah, that would stick out. Of course, that's your mask, Kadir. Like, if you asked me to just be like draw a mask for Kadir, I probably would have. I might have given him like an extra set of horns that was like small antlers, or I might have changed the horns into antlers, or more. I think 4 horns is better, but I would have given him more bull horns. It would have been pretty close, is what I'm saying. I heard the aesthetic basis for these parties is the black mass in the film Eyes Wide Shut. Oh, some think this decision means fan art is tone deaf, but it's quite the contrary. Oh my god, how many times have I referenced Eyes Wide Shut or Vanilla Sky at some recent point? Eyes Eyes Wide Shut, Vanilla Sky. Well, I think Eyes Wide Shut. I think recently I've said Vanilla Sky when I meant Eyes Wide Shut because those films are similar in certain ways, but the Eyes Wide Shut is more. I think that's what I meant sometimes, but both could still apply. Anyway, she knows the Anarchs are constantly looking for ways to undermine her through art and rhetoric that point out glaring contradictions in her theoretically benevolent rule. It's like, yeah, of course. That's how they fight. They fight through art. Like, they fucking roll up and just be like, pew pew, bang bang, bad things happen. But art and shit, that's more subtle. That's more your turf and warfare and shit. But yeah, no, the Camarilla is a bunch of hypocrites. But instead of denying and suppressing aesthetics designed to criticize the elites, she embraces them instead of risking a Streisand effect, and she effectively defangs the opposition. I'm not sure what the Streisand effect is. I'm familiar with who that individual is, Rebecca Streisand, I believe. I'm not that familiar with her. She was in South Park as a joke or whatever, but I'm not. I get the feeling I wasn't a big fan of hers in the first place, so I don't know much about her. So yeah. So what that effect is, I don't know. Maybe I'll look it up on a break. The resistance becomes a part of the system, and both the Camarilla and the Anarchs get the same message. Don't think of it as pathology. Think of it as a new normal. It's clever. That's definitely not how the Anarchs are going to take it. They're going to have... I mean, if they can drink beer, they would just have some cheap, shitty beer and cheers and laugh and point. Not here, but, you know, they would know and just be like, she thinks she's making fun of us by playing into it and trying to... No, it's like, that works on them maybe, but, well, they don't even get that we're making fun of them enough. She's doing this to... Yeah, it's a whole... Oh, vampire culture in the world of darkness. I'll collect the key advisors. They're already been told to come here. I don't think there's a need for us to hold the meeting in a particularly secluded place. We'll just do it over there. Like, points to a corner. There's just a toilet somebody bought from Home Depot, and some guy who was supposed to like, install it didn't. They just left it there before they got time to do it because they got pushed out by the party. And now people are like, oh, this is an interesting work of art. Making fun of actually some thing that was actually in the High Art Society thing. Although that's not what happened. It was somebody actually doing it. And they did have a point, and it's an interesting piece, blah, 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 blah. But it's just like, the idea is, I'm going to buy this toilet and just leave it here. And just like, put my name on it. And it is art, but it's just like, it's clever. Says a lot. It's just, there was also a time where something that was out of place was at an art gallery. I don't remember what it was, but it was something, and people just sat there and critiqued it like it was this big thing. It's like, no, literally, like, this isn't supposed to be here, and it just got left there, and it was something common, and it's like, people just assumed it was a piece, and it wasn't at all. It was, man, oh, I feel weird about this. I'm not positive that's true, or maybe I just saw it in like a bunch of things making fun of other stuff. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Are you certain? Absolutely. Wait, is that Miss Sawinski I see behind you? Good evening. I'm afraid so. I don't want to mess up with her. Like, dude, come on, man, do the thing. I collected her on my way here because her role as a Rasamba representative. Thank you. Just say political hostage. You people have made it perfectly clear what's going to happen with my parents back in Chicago if I go against you. It's like, I realized she might become a target and decided to hide her at the art hole. Putting all my eggs in one basket will make my job easier. I'll look for a safe place for her to spend the night. Oh god, it's that one guy. Let her stay with you. It's fucking Thomas Arturo. Tommy Artie. Don't like you at all. Fucking douche. Let her stay with you for now. I'll ask my time is of the essence. Yet, no, that sounds like you're like, hey, you guys stay together. That's two birds, one stone. I like that. I'm doing a Phantom of the Opera thing, only I have to hold it up to me. Everyone can still tell who I am. I did change my hair a bit since the last game, and now I seem to favor green even more. I don't remember if you liked green that much in the last game. I'm not a fan of Thomas Arturo, although his name is Arturo, so it's probably Tomas. But he's a dumbass, if you ask me. I didn't notice him sneak up on us. Nice getup. Are you absolutely sure? Why would you listen to him? He has no authority over you. But of course, everything we say here is going to become an open secret in a matter of minutes. Prince Banhart has already come up with the appropriate messaging. She's got, like, cards and everything. Out of the corner of my eyes, I spot an elderly vampire guiding a young, fashionable human girl towards the basement, led like a lamb to the slaughter, which is almost certainly what's probably happening. Best not to think too deeply about what's going on underneath this place. Yeah, nah, fam. That is not your problem. Before everyone gets here, I'd like to secure the perimeter. Oh, so are we here before it started? I figured it had already started. Easy now, all the appropriate now, do your job, double check, triple check. Look at that face. Is that a face you trust? Fuck that guy. He looks like he wants to be the Riddler. Fuck this guy. Fuck him. I just so dislike him so much. Oh, the last game. So annoying. Already active. Me and the prince, I think it's the prince and I, but sure, whatever, have already pulled some strings. Again, I don't know English. I just speak it, that's all. I speak American, motherfucker. Some strings as well. The situation is mostly under control. I believe the prince more than you. Mostly under control. Never let anyone sleep any easier. Kadir, my man. High five. I know that as the prince's sword, you're aching for blood, but you have to accept that, like most weapons known to men, you're most effective hidden in the sheath. No, I disagree. I would like to quote Barney, is it Barnaby or Barney whatever, from How I Met Your Mother. He says, "It is the greatest samurai who allows his sword to rust in its sheath." It's like, that's a clever bit of poetry and very nice, not very accurate. But there's a philosophical thing there, and he may have been quoting somebody else, but probably not, because anybody who would actually have a samurai sword would be like, no, you maintain that shit. You don't want it to rust. If you only take it out to maintain it, that's good. But you don't want it to rust if you ever need it. That's dumb. And also disrespectful to the sword and yourself and the whole culture and everything. Most weapons known to man doesn't apply. Certain weapons, yes. Assassin's blade is definitely best hidden. Sometimes you want to have a big talk loudly and have a big stick, or just have a big stick and talk quietly, or just be like, there's a guy in this room that has a gun and no one else is allowed to have a gun. Like, it keeps people in line, in my opinion. I don't know. Oh, wow, he's just gonna listen here now. Like, but he's getting it just dots, which means he's gonna get cut off. Oh, but by Samira. Looks like a fascinating philosophical discussion in the making, but sadly, I'm forced to interrupt. Prince Panhard. And she's an Assamite, or a Banu Hakim, so she's like basically what I just said about the Assassin's Blade makes. She'd be like, this girl knows what she's talking about. Fucking, what was my name? Sawowski? I don't remember my name anymore. All of a sudden, Samira appears between us, the two men, between the two men. Her calm and collected voice completely changing the atmosphere. As expected for a self-professed protector of the peace. I mean, you could just go peacemaker, where you're like, yeah, no, I'll kill everybody I got to. I'm dedicated, every part of my body, I totally dedicated to peace. Kill every man, woman, and child I have to attain that. It's like, okay. It's like, you're a Banu Hakim, but I mean, effective assassination can, depending on the circumstance, lead to peace maybe. I don't know. It can. Also, things were not going well there, so she's probably helping everybody. Samira! I hope you're enjoying yourself. To be quite honest, I feel out of place. Yeah, you're still sort of dressed the same way you normally were. And you're not wearing a mask. So, yeah. She nods and smiles at me, probably to signal she takes solace in not being the only person in the room who feels like a fish out of water. Even though this is like her place, isn't it? I'm pretty sure this belongs to her, like the building and stuff. The gallery. Especially now, seeing as I heard this meeting is meant for those of greater stature than mine. Ouch. That's rough. Because, again, This is your gallery, and you allow people to do that. They chose to use this. I don't understand that situation. You must have done something, and then you still don't get the respect you deserve because you're